Good evening and welcome everyone to the Final Fantasy IV Free Enterprise Community Club Showcase, showcasing the Legacy format here tonight. We have a wonderful community race going on, highlighting, of course, Rex Rawl and Gambit 017. Going to be a fantastic race. My name is Vidhasia. I'm joined tonight by Harumph, making his commentary debut. How's it going tonight, Harumph?
Tonight is going fantastically so far. Hopefully I can get. My goal is to get through the get through tonight's comms here relatively unscathed. And I hope, I hope to see a great race here between our two runners tonight.
Absolutely, we have kind of an interesting flag set going on tonight. First of all, chat, absolutely. Scala Kitty pointing out, yeah, I love Rex's names right now. It looks like DC superheroes on his side. But yeah, going back to the flags, we have a really interesting flag set between these particular runners. 4 objectives that we're going to have to complete. Forced telestart. Items are located in their normal key item locations or mixed in with summon rewards. No boss rewards. 8 distinct characters are going Force Tella. Honestly, I think the spiciest thing on the list for me that I'm looking out for is that random encounters do not offer any experience, which cuts out a lot of grind options at this point in time. So it'll be really interesting to see how these runners, mess with that.
Now, fortunately for our runners, if they do choose to go through the grind here, we have vanilla trap chests located, so they'll know where to find the enemies that can provide the experience here. But with no experience here, you also open up the options of a lower level Z fight, such as 1200 strats here, or Eddie strats if there's an Eddie in the seed, because there's no guarantee that we're going to see Eddie tonight.
Absolutely. We have 8 distinct characters that are going to come on, so we may not see Eddie anywhere, or it could be very varied. So that telestart doesn't necessarily mean anything to us right now. And then we take a look at everything else that's available. We have Dwarf Castle, Life Glitch, Sylph MP, Vanilla Foo, which is nice. So if we end up finding him, he ends up being a very powerful character at any point in this. But otherwise, this is just going to be an interesting race. We have, I think there were 20 some odd folks who have all been part of this particular race. And it looks like we're counting down and are about to start here.
Yes, and with a telestart here, his effectiveness in the early game isn't great till you get him 2 mount ordeals. So seeing who the second character is, we've got a Cecil. And a magma key starts, so we've got underground access right away.
I mean, gotta go fast at this point in time. Worth noting that the vanilla agility anchoring flag is on, which does mean he is the anchor right now moving forward. So, some runners consider, a Cecil a liability simply because it allows you less freedom. In particular, because we know that there's going to be a Sid available, and we already have a Tella. We can abandon those characters if we really want to, but that does limit us even further. It just really depends on what weapons we end up finding for Cecil. But both Tella and Cecil early on, I think a play to mount ordeals isn't out of the question.
And we're seeing some different initial pathing to start off. Rex Rule going toward the free item check at the Troya Castle, and Gambit looks like he's going down to underground right away, or at least dropping the key to open it up.
Oh, I actually really like Rex's play here. Getting the free key item because that flag is not turned on. Hey, turns out Edward had the Earth Crystal the entire time.
We may be raiding that treasury very early tonight.
Kairu is asking, what's the meta objective this week? Remember, the flag set doesn't change unless one of the top runners ends up completing the meta objective that is not shown. Oh, here we go. It is Rape That Treasury. Couple whites. Dragoon. Oh, wow. This is a
Oh, baby, this
stacked
is
treasury.
nice. Power
Everyone
shirt,
say
white
fuzzy
shirts.
pickles.
Yeah, there's a lot of lot of useful items there.
Power shirt, Zeus Gauntlet on its own. Man, if we find a cane, that would, I mean, we're set at that point in time. Also, a crystal armor, dwarf axe, so we can back row glitch a Cecil and a cane if we want to. This has just been a fantastic treasury, and even the secondary treasury is nothing to snuff at. Rex will, of course, utilizing Tello what he's best at doing early game, casting exit.
Of course, with all those items now, you also have access to potentially some money now. There won't be as much here because you do have the quarter flag on here, so items only sell for a quarter of their retail value. So you won't be able to get as much money here, but yeah, Rex is probably pretty good here for the early game.
Yeah, he's taking a look at 2 white shirts, a ninja shirt, and a power shirt. It was absolutely a shirt percent. All of the best clothing available in the Troya basement.
Well, Gamut's got some finds in the Dwarf Castle as well. There's a heroin shirt in heroin robe in one of the towers here, and he also has a dwarf axe located, so he can also back row a Cecil or a cane should be encountered. Should be encountered cane, and later on when Cecil gets promoted to paladin.
Yep, worth noting that the T Wildish flag is on, so the treasures are slightly weighted, although there's still great possibilities kind of no matter where you go. There's a second Cecil available up on Mount Hops. That's I don't think we can get a second Cecil, right? We have 8 distinct characters. There's no reason for that fight. Yep.
No dupes is on, so yeah, that second Cecil won't help here. You can't use a second Cecil here to effectively be the anchor here, so you can level up the other Cecil. We also did see the job dwarf check on Gambit's side here. He's a foreign service officer tonight.
Looks like some other shop checks that are going on in some of these other areas. Exits available there in Agard. I keep getting distracted. There was a question in chat about what the meta objective is going to be. The meta objective for this one, if one of the top runners in this particular community seed defeats a pack of pink puffs, then that meta objective is completed at this point in time. So for that, we need sirens, and we kind of have to go out of our way. That's going to be really difficult to end up doing because those pink puffs, for lack of a better term, hurt.
And the sirens are also necessary because you don't see. It's a very rare encounter. I believe it's like a 1 in 64 encounter spot in one particular spot in the lunar subterranean. So without that siren here, you could be walking back and forth for ages and not see one.
Also worth noting is that at this point in time, even though we have no adamant armors turned on, there is a 1 in 256 chance of an adamant armor drop from the pink puffs. Normally, that's where the pink tail drops from those pink puffs. We just switched it to an adamant armor because we like to go fast and don't want to punish you that much if you're farming pink puffs in a speed run. So that's a possibility if someone ends up going for the meta objectives, but certainly not something you necessarily want to rely on. But adamant armors are still technically possible.
And on Gambit's side, we do see a Feymarch chest check, and the Luca key is there, which which might be needed here if you don't if you forget that you have a source of warp, because the warp flag is on the warp glitch flag is on here, so you can actually warp into the sealed cave crystal room and get the key item there without actually having to go through the sealed cave itself.
So Harump, let's talk about the decision, because early magma key is one of those conundrums in the free enterprise speedrunning community that has people a little bit divided. Some people prefer to put off going into the underground. They still want to kind of do their other overworld checks. Other people like to dive in immediately. What's your opinion on it? What's the superior strategy as you see it, or is it based on the different flag strings? Kind of what's your take on that? Because it's if there's one divider in the community, I think that feels like it's it.
I think some of it might have to do with the flag set itself here, especially if you have a potential to, you know, for a quick objective. If you have, especially if you have objectives underground here, and you want to check if there may be something that you can do fairly quickly. I like to go down here because, like in a seed like this here, because the chest's further down here. And if you want to do some looting here, you're going to have a higher, a better chance of getting those higher tier items here, which are going to help you along the way. If you get those higher tier items early here, it can help out with getting through the early game much more efficiently.
See, and I'm of the other opinion. I like to do kind of my normal overworld checks that I would normally do before I go underground, in part because I want to do things as efficiently as possible. And things like doing the antlion cave check, doing mount ordeals, I don't think, depending on your party comp and your equipment setup, I don't generally think that, you are going to go that much faster if you have just like marginal equipment upgrades. If you have the right equipment and the right party, I like to go ahead and do the overworld, simply because if I find the pan in the overworld, that's one less trip to Fabul, because I can kind of knock out all three all at once, and that's just time saved, less time flying.
Yeah, you really only know here which way is the which path is correct here once you actually get into the seat here, because going underground early will be the right check for the right move here for one seed, but catastrophic for another.
It's true, and I think that's part of the reason why we all love randomizers so much. It's that there is a statistically right and wrong thing to do, but statistics you can throw out the window for a one-off race. In a one-off, anything is possible.
Much like how every treasure chest has a crystal sword until you open it, every check is correct until you find out what's in it.
I mean, that passes my logic check. So are we talking quantum crystal swords now? Every chest is a crystal sword until you open it, and it's not.
Or any high value item, I suppose.
Yes, make the wonderful restreamer Schrodinger's Ragnarok. Absolutely, I love it. Big shout out to our behind the scenes crew, by the way, as we're kind of cleaning things up and checking over each other's steps at this point in time. Smapety on the restream and our wonderful tracker Possum Orpheus. Those guys on the back end are the brains behind the entire operation. You guys are doing all the work that makes the community look great. We just get to sit here and talk and say pretty words. So thank you guys so much for all your efforts behind the scenes.
Gambit's making his check and resets out, seeing the bad news that it's just another Cecil on the top of Mount Hobbs today. It does look like that he is going to take care of the antlion check now, and presumably Fubu will be next, because Gambit did take the trip down to the Self Cave here to check in on Yang, who is sound asleep in bed.
Yeah, I think both runners ended up doing this here, and both runners are highlighting right now effectively one of the downsides of having such early access with T Wildish and trap chests in their vanilla locations. Your inventory gets really full very, very quickly.
And the inventory boss rears its ugly head very early tonight.
Here's the tough thing about both of these guys, because free characters are not turned on. Normally, you can go to Mount Hobbs to get a third character, but rockin', we have a level 10 Cecil and a level 20 Tella with level 1 spells right now. Antlion's not going to be, whatever is here, it's not going to be a cakewalk because Cecil just can't equip any of the equipment that we ended up picking up. And Tella is so limited because of his spell list. So it's it feels very limiting right now in terms of what we can do as characters. This is going to be kind of a really interesting early game for these guys to see how they push through and when they're going to be able to get to that next spot, because this is the party right now that we have to push through with.
Like, it wouldn't surprise me if you do see a trip back to Mount Hobbs, just not for the character here, just to get the experience, just to try to get that little bit of extra damage here to at least get through the early bosses in a somewhat less than a lengthy manner.
Yeah, and of course we have folks in the chat who are telling, okay, Tella has a power staff, that's fine. We have J items, that's okay. Those are kind of strategies that you don't ever want to have to do. Like they will work, they will get you through, and they're great for situations like this. And hello, CPU.
This is going to be a slog. Oof.
Yeah, at this point, Gambit's even throwing out, it's like, hey, let's get recall going. And he recalls a lit 1 that reflects back on the Cecil before he does a Globe 9-9.
That's going to reset because you're going to see Globe 99 times 2, and with 2 part, the math 2 minus 2 equals 0.
Yeah, this is less than ideal, I would say right now, because your most powerful attack for for this particular fight is going to be a Tella bonking with his power staff, which feels horrible.
And indeed, Gambit is bailing out of Antlion, which is something you don't see very often. He's going to Fabul and hopefully finding an easier fight there.
And I'm seeing that Rexroll actually had power shirt and power staff for Tella. And Tella's gonna go crazy Spoony Bard ham on this wonderful CPU fight. It feels so bad. I just don't know.
I don't recall ever equipping a power shirt on Tella, ever.
There's so few cases that you would ever do that. This is one of the rare few. Oh my goodness.
We were talking edge cases at the earlier tonight here, and this is definitely an edge case scenario.
Kairu, I was just thinking that Tella is Master Roshi right now. Just put a turtle shell on him. Call it good.
And Gambit finds Odin at the Fabul Gauntlet spot, at the pool spot.
Oh,
I don't like the fight either.
This is just horrible. Haram, this is why I like doing commentary, because that means that I will never have to race this particular seed and bash my head against this. This is just a horrible early game. You think Magma Key, hey, we'll jump in, this is going to be a whole lot of fun. No, this is not fun.
Now on Rex's side here, Tella is putting in work. The main CPU orb is out here, and the attacker is gone, and Antlion is done on his side.
Package. You know what? First, one objective down. Fantastic. But let me tell you something. I'm going to use that package because this party is not going to help me any further in this particular scene. My God.
Gambit's taking another shot at the Odin. And Rex is indeed going to check that package character and hopefully finding someone other than Caesar or Tella.
That would just be horrible, wouldn't it? It's Edward.
Honestly, at this stage right now, Edward's reasonable because I think that potentially, if you're comfortable with Eddie strats, you don't have to worry about a grind, at least here to at least for the Z fight.
Oh my goodness. I mean, you can equip a bow. Okay. Like, it's really, really sad that Eddie might be our biggest damage dealer and he doesn't have a spoon even. Oh my gosh. Also, I apologize if I cackled into anyone's ear. I should have given some sort of warning.
Gambit's going to see if Sheila has the goods, and she had a Leviathan summon, which would definitely be useful if Iridia comes into play. But otherwise, it's money right now.
This is the hot garbage that everyone comes to see. Shout out to Smape D for rolling this fantastic seed. This is glorious, sir.
And we have a mirror match on Rex's side where we've got Cecil versus Cecil and Tella.
Okay, so Gambit just found something interesting. He found Thor Rages that are available in Silvera. That might be enough to help us get past Odin at this point in time up there. Because honestly, I don't think Rex is going to have the numbers, even with an Eddie, because that's kind of an interesting high HP spot, I thought. Unless Gambit did get through Odin and I just blinked and missed it. He did? Okay, so it was a Zeus gauntlet. Oof. Oof.
That's adding to the collection because I believe when Gambit dove the Self Cave, he found at least 2.
This is the worst. Okay, there's a cane lying in the bed, so that's good information to know. And we as soon as we get Paladin Cecil or Kane, this becomes a whole different story because we can equip out normal end game party members to the max right now. It's just the starting party is just disgusting.
Gambit finds the element spot here, and that big bomb which makes itself very useful right now because that's one shot, and Ha,
Gomez.
ha, ha. At least there isn't too much animation to go through, because there are only two party members at the moment on Gambit's side. But we'll see if if he can get the Star Veils up fast enough.
Well, and it's Gomez in a back attack spot of all things. This is, oh my gosh! Like I'm flustered with how horrible this whole thing is. You know, I once asked Snape D for his trips. I asked him, it's like, Snape D, is it possible to learn this power? And he just kind of slowly turned to me and went, not from the commentator.
Gambit, fortunately, able to get the Star Veil up on Tella, and with the high magic power at this spot here, it's quick work here. Just have Gomez take a few reflected spells, and then have Tella just tap him on the head with his staff.
That's some high level work right there. That was not necessarily easy, and definitely took a little bit of luck there. So he is rightfully saving, because honestly, I don't know if I trust this party to get through anything. It's a bit of a roll of the dice with each boss check. Hey, that's fantastic news for Rex as soon as he gets there.
Yep. Edward with a power shirt and a spoon. That's a lot of damage.
Zoe Vermillion is pointing out in chat, it's like, yeah, this entire party gets upgraded from Mount Ordeals. Tella learns his complete spell list. Cecil can actually equip his equipment. And Eddie is going to get his spoon, the most powerful weapon in the game.
Rex is going to try to get the Star Veils up on his side to make quick work of Golbez. And Edward's got the veil up here, so this should be, yeah, any minute now.
So while Gambit does look to have a little bit of a straight line lead at this point, Eddie's going to end up being able to do quite a bit of damage and might be able to carry the party, at least in combination with the fully equipped Cecil, as we continue on. Gambit does not have the package yet, has not completed the Antline Cape. I got to imagine that's on his short list of things to complete in the near future, knowing that he has to do the Antline test. However, with the Paladin Cecil, it's not necessarily impossible to move on. Like, I can absolutely see taking some time, gaining some levels somewhere on a Paladin Cecil, and then just moving on and powering through. We'll see if he ends up immediately going back to Antlion and turning in that package. Looks like he's doing exactly that.
And with Cecil with a lot more firepower, and Tella with a little more firepower as well here, this fight should go far more smoothly.
Interesting that he's not using one of his many, many power shirts on Cecil right now. That feels like it's something that you would want to do.
Now, conversely, here on Rex's side, here, if I'm not mistaken, here there was a crystal armor that he found in the treasury. Um, Now you could potentially, again, you could back row Cecil here, put this, put the crystal armor on him, and just have him protect, no, cover Eddie here to provide that extra coverage here. Because although Eddie can throw down, um, Eddie is still fairly, yeah, a stiff breeze will knock him down.
Absolutely. And I think the problem with Eddie is when he's weak, like even in boss form, doesn't he retreat so he doesn't actually attack? So using the cover strats is actually mitigated a little bit by having Eddie.
Gambit now has his first objective done, and he has the package here, and we'll see if he goes to check. Check and find Edward at the Mist Village.
Yep. So both runners are effectively neck and neck. They've done the same objectives. They've done pretty much the same thing, and it does appear that Gambit is going to pick up his Edward. I think that he doesn't know it yet. He's saving. Looks like he's going to check out to see what boss this is, although that's not necessarily needed right here because the free key item flag is turned on. We already got that from Edward. Finding D-Mist doesn't do anything for us in this particular scene. So doing any sort of boss hunt at this point in time isn't really going to help us out, unfortunately.
Now, sadly, here we do find the alt gauntlets at this mist spot here, so we do lose out here on, on a chat favorite here, which is you have some key item like a hook gated behind something like Ogo Pogo alt gauntlet location.
And it does look like Gambit is not going to reset out of it. Rydia's mother is burning her own village down. I cannot believe I missed that the first time. That it was Rydia's mother's sprite that's burning everything down.
We may have noticed it subconsciously. I think we just kind of blocked it out of our memory here because it was such a traumatic memory.
That is literally the worst sprite you can have burning this town down. Any other sprite would be fine. Rexroll does get through that Odin fight significantly faster, but at the same time, I think Gambit got through the CPU fight significantly faster. So they're effectively, again, side by side at this point in time. This has just been a fantastic race, and more importantly, a fantastic show because I don't know if I've ever laughed harder in the first 30 minutes of a race as I have in this one.
Yeah, that first half, the first part of the seat here has been nightmarish at spots for sure.
Now, looking over these objectives, we have Antlion S complete. Complete? Apology, I was choking there for a second. Complete Cave Magnus. Music is going to be required. We do have to launch the Falcon, so we're going to need the hook at some point in time. And Sid is going to be a character that we find somewhere.
Yes, there's only 8 characters in the C2. We know who 3 of them are already. Our runners are hoping here that there's more than one Sid, or if there is only one Sid here, he's in a fairly easy spot, given the first part of the seed so far.
Honestly, at this point, if I'm these runners, I'm checking because we haven't seen Baron in yet. Of all things, we haven't had a character check in Baron in quite yet. That seems to be kind of the next logical spot. But honestly, after that, unless I get the Baron key there, I'm immediately going up, and I'm thinking Tower of Zot next. A Spoony Bard can carry you if you can keep him alive through those two particular fights. And I think this party is capable of doing that right now. And then you get two more party members after the first boss anyway. So yeah, I'm checking Baron, and then I think I'm almost immediately going to Tower of Zot afterwards, regardless of what's going on, because I need something a little bit more to get me deeper into the seed than this party.
Oh, speak of the devil, we've got Sid. And a K nozzle.
Yeah, that Kenyazo fell over pretty quick. That's nice. That can be kind of a rough boss if he's in an inconvenient spot. And we have free guards now. This was fantastic.
Yeah, like this is after that first part of seed here. This is a nice reprieve here to see Keenan taken out of the boss pool from a potentially nastier spot here, and I maybe would want to see the Kaipo guards, in a tougher spot here, but yeah, you're taking what you can get right now, I think.
No key item, but hey, I'll take another level 20 fighter. Sid, he can do some decent melee damage at this point. Not quite as much as Cecil right at the moment. I mean, he's certainly got levels on him, but Cecil will long term be the superior option. But he's something. I mean, he's at least some consistent damage, and his HP growth is fantastic. I think you're just happy. At the same time, I'm going to be honest here. If you're building a party that is consisted of the 5 weakest party members, 3 of our 4 party members of our current party would be in it.
And I'm wondering here, some of these runners here may have had an idea of what they want to, how they may have been planning what their end game would look like, in terms of how they're going to approach the Z fight, whether they're going to see if they want to find treasure chests here, or find bosses here for a to do a more traditional grind here, or whether they want to take the chances here with a lower level strat. Eddie opens up one option here. If you're not comfortable with that here, you have your 1200 strats as well here. So I suspect there's maybe a bit of a feeling out process still in terms of how our runners want to approach the end game.
So I'm super confused right now because Rexroll is doing Cave Magnus. I didn't see a Twin Harp, and I trust Possumorpheus far too much to think that we've missed a Twin Harp. Yeah, he might be confusing Earth Crystal with Twin Harp at this point in time, which would be a disaster, frankly speaking.
I can see what the mix-up, can be here, because you get this is where you would get your vanilla Earth Crystal. But yeah, this is Rex will find we'll get the bad news shortly. But I don't recall. I think he saved outside, so I don't think it's it's an issue of having to walk back or anything like that.
Here comes the bad text. You fools! Smack Tilla.
And we have Gambit, taking a different path here, going up the Tower of Babel, doing Healess Tower.
Now, there is one key difference in the two different things that Rexroll and Gambit have done at this point in time. Gambit has not gotten to get that free key item that is the Earth Crystal from Bedward. That's Edward in a Bed. So I mean that wasn't a bad treasury. That was I mean shirt percent. You know you had a power shirt, a ninja shirt, a sorcerer robe, two white robes, plus a Zeus gauntlet as well. I mean it was a very nice uh, basement. All things said, that Gambit does not have that equipment advantage with the party setup that we have right now is absolutely going to help Rexraw as he goes through, at least at this point.
Gambit finding Biken at the top of tower. Biken's going to hit hard enough here, at least for the front, at least for the character at the front here. This will take a while because it is a high HP spot. So even with Eddie with a spoon here, this will take maybe not.
Yeah, I mean, this is going to be interesting. If he can keep his Eddie rolling, that's going to be just great. Oh! Yeah, here's the problem. He's spending a lot of time on getting everyone zerked up. I think at some point he's got to focus. Yeah, his Eddie just died. Yeah, his Tele just died. He's got to be a little bit more defensive on this particular fight just because Bigen does hit really hard right here.
That being said, Cecil isn't taking that much damage here from the hits. So it's a matter of whether he wants to try to race.
Yeah, and the problem, I mean, if he got some lucky Zerk hits in, it might have been better, but he's spreading his damage too much, unfortunately. I'm worried that this is a time waste. Like, I don't anticipate this going well for him. He might clutch it out. I mean, I don't know. It is very, very close right now.
And even if you run into a situation here where you take out the body first and with a freshly recovered pair of arms, you also run potentially into the danger of having the arms explode and take you out here, depending on how much HP you have left here once you get to that point.
Yeah, I'm worried about Gambit right now. Not gonna lie. Rexroll, meanwhile, gets through that Leviathan fight, so he's going to save. He's about to get two new characters, and it'll be really interesting what his decisions end up being in terms of who he keeps and who he ditches. There is Iridia. That is the sixth character we know about at this point.
And we also now know here that Rubicant is at the Dwarf Castle.
Yeah, Iridia is a great pickup. Just a duplicate Cecil. So there's our third Cecil, by the way. Nuts. But hey, a Black Mage at this point in time, right now it's a level 1 Black Mage, won't help you get through this particular fight. But hey, you've got some great equipment. I think you have a Sork Robe. I've seen rune rings that are at least available for sale. We've had great hats. I think there was at least a Gaia helmet, if not a tiara, available. So
and Iridia also has the access to Odin and Leviathan because Rex has those summons that Iridia can learn right away. Just have to get the MP to cast them.
meanwhile, Gambit is still chipping away at Bigen, and man, those arms are just in full recovery mode. And he resets finally. Meanwhile, Dark Elf is available.
Will Tella have his revenge?
I mean, he got backhanded pretty hard. There's no two ways about that. Oh yeah, hey, the already weak character. I'm perfectly okay with that. still, this isn't much of a cakewalk either at the same time, just because of the levels and our party comp and everything at this point. This has been a tough early seed. Like, this is one of those seeds that uh, I'll be perfectly frank, I would have slammed my controller against the ground already if I were playing this. This is not a seed I would want to be playing. Kudos to all of our runners. We've had no one drop out of this race so far. Everyone's still going. Everyone is still continuing to fight on. Kudos literally to every single one of you. I would not be able to be dealing with this right now.
Yeah, I think I myself here might have been in tears in a fetal position underneath my desk at this point. And Rex had a few hiccups here, but gets through the second form of the Dark Elf, and we'll soon have another. What Rex is hoping to be another key item in hand.
Yeah, I think for that one, Rexroll actually had a heroin robe instead of a sword robe, and a dragon whip. So that'll hit that Dark Elf second form pretty hard. I also think, because everyone's talking about Dragon Whip and Heroine Robe, Rydia, I think actually Child Rydia can also strangely equip the Zeus gauntlets, right?
I've never actually checked myself.
Oh, adult only, not child only. Okay. That's weird. I thought I
Sorry, go ahead.
No. I'm sorry. You guys talking about the race itself.
Yes. Rex has found the Baron key at the. I guess after coming back from Zot, he's going to go take a quick check at the web store, and then we might see a Baron check at this. A Baron Castle check afterwards.
You know, there is one thing that I'm wondering at this point in time. You know, we have what I think can generously be called not a fantastic party. You know, you can get it done with a Sid, a Cecil, a Rydia, a Spoony Bard. It's not fun, and this is just a party setup that you put up with if you have to. But at what point do we stop prioritizing checks that simultaneously have characters and key items and just focus on key items, do you think?
Given here that we still need 2 key items, which really can be anywhere at this point. I think going through the key items here, you're going to naturally find yourself in those checks. Speaking of which, Gambit just has 3 more checks open up, I believe, as the Pan was behind top of tower.
Yeah, that's fantastic at this point in time. I'm loving that particular because it guarantees at least 2 checks at that point. You know, smacking Young with getting the summon of Sylph there. That is a key item check. And then also turning the Pan in. I believe Gambit has already double checked Sheila 1. So that's already complete. Meanwhile, Rexroll is diving in. Baron in Optimum. This should go down fairly fast for this party at this point.
Yeah, especially with Leviathan. That's going to be a lot of damage from the kid.
It's opposite day for Rubicante. Instead of "I'll show you flame," it's "I'll show you waves."
You'd figure Octomam here would be strong against water, but
Meanwhile, Antlion is located in the King Baron spot. Most of our damage is coming from fight moves right now, unless you're Rydia at this point. Yeah, throw in a Leviathan, which will be fantastic. Tower Key for Gambit. He's like, okay, I guess I'll do the tower before I turn in Sheila 2.
it's a relatively quickish check here. And it's, yeah, so you might as well.
I mean, yeah, it's on the way, so it feels bad having to fly up to Sheila 2 to check and then fly back down here. So, yeah, I get the routing decision, but I'm also a firm believer in always check your freebies first. Meanwhile, Rexrawl does find, hey, it's a Kane. That's fantastic. That's just like a direct upgrade to Sid.
Yeah, it's definitely a welcome find at this point. Depending on whether you're thinking you may want to go with a melee strat for the rest of your seed here and the seed fight.
Well, I mean, Sid just doesn't have the weaponry, and we've had at least one Dragoon Lance, and I think I've seen a White Lance as well. So if you have the best in slot weapon sitting there, seeing that character pop up is always going to be a must take.
And we have, ooh, we've got the Twin Harp.
That's required then. That whole chain of Baron Key into, to clear the boss, to get Twin Harp, required. We have to go to Cave Magnus.
If I'm not mistaken, that Baron Key was at, well, again, here was at Zot here, which needs Earth Crystal. Gambit is going to be in maybe chasing down a lot more rabbit holes if he doesn't go back to Bedward and get that Earth Crystal.
Yeah, that's unfortunate. And we've seen him, here's the rough part, we've seen him do some boss checks. So it might be until he finds Mist somewhere and goes back and realizes there's not an item there before he gets going. I'm really concerned about Gambit's position right now. I hope he recognizes it soon.
Gambit finds a rat tail from the cannon room, which again here isn't going to be useful here because the hook can't the hook can't be behind the rat tail because you need the hook to catch in the rat tail. So that won't likely be progression.
Rex is trying. I'm just worried that this is just a little bit too much for him to handle right now, unfortunately.
On the other hand, on Gambit's side, Sheila does have the goods. That second check is indeed the hook. So Gambit has the ability here, has one objective able to be off here in launching the Falcon. So we got access to different objectives, different third objectives on both sides.
Rexrawl is trying to pull this off. Oh, takes a hard hit for his Cecil. That might be it. Yeah.
Yeah, at this point here, aside from finding access to the moon here, we know um, we know where each runner has to go here. Gambit will need to get the Earth Crystal from Bedward. Rex needs to complete the Keyless Tower.
So we are in no mode at this point in time. We know what each runner has to do to complete all objectives, but they are on completely different paths right now.
Rex is now going for that Twin Harp check, making a second trip into the Chocobo Forest because he got intercepted here by a yellow Chocobo trying to talk to a black Chocobo.
All right, so Rex are all coming back for revenge for that backhand slap that the Dark Elf gave us last time. Gambit, meanwhile, did get the Sand Ruby. Looks like he's setting up. He's going to pick up this cane that's lying here in the bed. So both runners are going to have the same parties. Although Gambit's going to have Cane eventually as he goes through Baron. That'll make the Baron castle check a little bit faster for him eventually.
And momentarily, Rex will make his second meeting here with the first form of the Dark Elf, which will go a little more smoothly here, but will still require the assistance of DJ Spoony B, who will play his play a tune here to help break the spell in the cave. So we're gonna let Edward here take over from here and listen in.
All right, that was a fantastic track. I'm hearing Master Blaster from chat. I just had to be quiet there. And all we're rewarded with is the Adamant. Really, at this point, only good for a key item, but at least we did get objective number 2 complete on Rexroll. And Gambit, meanwhile, is diving in. We do have a Vivales that we did see earlier, but no final character, just a duplicate Cane.
Yeah, but I don't believe here the Valvalis here won't be too much trouble at the Rubiconte spot here. We'll see if there's anyone spicy at the King Queen Evelyn spot. Once Gambit presumably makes that trip down or up. Up, no, going downwards. Yeah, okay. Yeah, I don't know which direction here we're
Yeah,
going.
I just tried to make a pop culture reference song in my mind. I'm like, okay, what jokes are there? And then I realized like there's 100 different pop songs about going down. So my brain short circuited. I apologize, chat.
All right, Gambit's taking the Mad Ogre chest here to presumably get a few levels, additional levels up on the team here. And we're seeing our first check here at the Dwarf Castle spot here, and we've got Evil Wall to start off, which, yeah, Evil Wall here could be in a few nastier places here, but even though he hits decently, the wall hits decently here, yeah, Edward should make quick work of, assuming he stays alive.
Yeah, I'm a little bit concerned about this fight as well. Nothing has been given to these runners at all through this entire run. Every fight has been a little bit of a struggle. No coasting whatsoever. Evil Wolf here even hitting pretty hard for, as much as half of Kane's health at this point. Really trying to rush this as best you can, just hoping to get through.
And fortunately here the damage coming from Evil Wall here was pretty favorable and got through that fight without too much trouble. And Rubicante is up next, and this Rubicante, I don't think it's not going to put up much of a fight at all here.
Oh, that's interesting. How would you like a Rosa?
Yes, that's it's just a straight up yes here. Tella, I think Tella's probably, his usefulness his effectiveness at this point here is going to be fairly limited.
Yeah, we're not doing a Z machine grind because random encounters are ended up turned off. So yeah, Tella's run his course at this point in time. We have a superior black mage in Rydia. All the damage that we could possibly do. That's a fantastic pickup. The superior white mage. And we blink and we're close to end party game. We were talking so much about the early part of the game just being horrible in terms of your party composition. We have a pretty decent party set up at this point in time. I'd feel comfortable taking this party to zero miss pretty easily.
We find a legend sword around Lucas' neck. That's a interesting necklace, to say the least.
Also, warp glitch enabled. There's our darkness crystal. Ooh.
Don't forget the warp glitch in the seed.
Wait a second.
Now, that being said here, having Darkness Crystal open up here may make Rex fade Keyless Tower for a little while longer. Because you might be incentivized to go to the moon and make those checks, as well as level up the party there.
Yeah, there's no King Moon flag is the problem. Like, those checks, there's Bahamut, and that's the only actual check right at the moment.
Nope, that
I
is
was
correct.
wondering,
Sorry.
yeah, I was wondering what was Rexroll doing, and he realized, oh, he's getting an Excalibur. He's spending time to get a decent weapon for Cecil. Just he was so hoping for that.
Yeah, and yeah, Hook is proving to be a little bit, Gambit is trying to, I guess, game plan here because Wyvern is proving to be a bit of a roadblock. When you have
All
vanilla
right, so now
agility,
Gambit looks like, yeah, Gambit looks like he's making the play onto Dwarf Castle. Now, that's not the Earth Crystal chain that we know he needs to get to. Meanwhile, Rexroll is doing Keyless Tower now. This is on the right path. This is fantastic news for Rexroll at this point.
this will lead to the chain here to the to the Hook to get you to that third objective. Again, how Rex is going to. We'll see how Rex will handle Wyvern at that point here because we've got vanilla agility on here. So Cecil, he's been getting some levels here. He's doesn't exactly have low agility, and it's a fast spot. So it's a matter of seeing here if Rex can figure out the agility to get a Star Veil up.
All right, so Rexroll is about to start his Vigan fight. I think he's in a little bit better position than Gambit was at that point in time. Still, no great levels at this point in time. It's a bit of a struggle again, but just tough to find out, where we're going to level at this point in time. That's been the real struggle. Can't Siren, can't do any sort of random grinds. We're just kind of forced to level up through the bosses. And it's been really rough up to this point in time, especially given the party comps early game. So none of these bosses have been a cakewalk for either of these guys.
Yeah, given here that you're seeing some pretty nasty bosses at this point, but at least we know here how progression is going to go. Those who are going to be who are comfortable here with an Edward strat here, so you don't have to worry about getting slogging through that grind. I believe they're going to have an advantage in completing the seed in a more timely manner.
Gambit through his Rubicante fight. Everyone's still up and rolling.
Now, did we see what character? Did we see if Gambit took the Rosa?
I believe Gambit did take the Rosa. I just didn't see which character he dismissed for her.
I'm seeing here that
he jumped Cecil?
Not a bad idea if you're trying to get past the Wyvern spot, because now you don't have to worry about his agility.
I mean, yes. I mean, also, Gambit does not have either the Legend or the Adamant Sword, so he's probably thinking, Cecil, I don't have a good weapon for Cecil. He's not doing significant enough damage. I'd rather have a White Mage. Plus, with the agility, I don't know if I agree with that move, but some people hate Cecil that much, so.
it's not necessarily a permanent decision either here because we don't have we don't have the buy flag on, so you can get the character. You can trade the character back at the top of the tower. No, sorry, at the Tower of Wishes in the city here, if you really want Cecil back.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a bit of a Cecil fanboy, to be fair, so I probably weigh him a little bit heavier than everyone else, but
Yeah, most people have a very favorable opinion of Cecil here until you have vanilla agility here, and then the opinion starts to be a little more divided.
okay, so Gambit is turning in the Darkness Crystal now. I don't know if this is an attempt to get levels or going up to check the character on the moon or checking Bahamut, maybe all three. We'll see what Gambit's decision is here. Meanwhile, we know Rexrawl is on the right path.
Now, fortunately, as well here, there aren't too many. There aren't really that many. Um, there aren't really any rabbit holes left here that that you can potentially that Gambit could potentially uncover before having to check Bedward for the Earth Crystal. So, um, any checks here should be quick here, unless Gambit doesn't realize that the flag is on and goes hunting for D-Mist.
Looks like Gambit is at least checking what the character is. There is still one character at least that we haven't seen. Oh.
We have a vanilla Foo.
That's interesting. Fu is 100% powered up. He comes to us fully equipped, fully leveled up, fully empowered with all of his spells in this particular flag set. So that's interesting. End game Fu is not ideal, but I mean he's certainly viable. Right now, he's looking very strong at this point in the game.
And on Gambit's side here, one advanced stage mage goes out for another, and I'd be doing the same thing.
All right, let's see. Gambit is returning already. Might be switching out some characters.
Well, there would only be two left checkers. We've already. Yeah, he does. Well, Gambit hasn't found Rydia here, which is the 8th character here. So because there's no dupes, you're only going to find your Tella or your Cecil, and they're going to be at the same levels that you left that they had here when they left the party.
All right. Rexraw, meanwhile, completes his tower key turn in at this point.
And Gambit is going to, making his way down to take a second, make another attempt at getting past the Wyvern by getting a little shopping done first. Picking up, what I believe it was vampires he picked up. Well,
I missed it too, unfortunately.
yes, vampires here, which come into play here with some of the low level strats available here to our runners.
In the meantime, Rat Tail received.
And Rex is going to turn into Pan. Going to find the good news that Sheila has the goods tonight with the hook, and that will put Rex in go mode.
I do find it interesting that both Gambit and Rexroth stopped to turn in the key on the way and didn't check the freebie in Sheila 2 beforehand. That would have saved time. Not that I blame them either for doing those moves, because it was a logical move. It's just interesting that the rule, always check your freebies, has come true once again.
Yeah, most of the time here, it's Super Cannon is close enough to being a freebie here, so I think it's understandable.
I mean, you're not wrong, but so Gambit is in Tower of Zot. I think at this point he's Demus hunting because he doesn't have the Earth Crystal yet. Oh, Gambit's in Hook. Oh, same room. Okay, that's weird. My fault. He's doing the hook route at this point. Okay. I mean, you have to do it anyway, and now you have a level 50 Foo. This makes sense.
The agility situation is probably slightly better. I don't know how much, how much of an improvement he'll see, but maybe it'll be enough here just to get to the point here where, where you can get a star bill up here, so you're not taking a full party wipe right away.
Rex, meanwhile, turning in the Rat Tail, gets the Sand Ruby. My goodness, we're getting close to completing every check in the game. I think Pass and Pinktail are the only thing we have not seen yet.
Yeah, and I believe here the only checks here that are left here for key items here would be the Fade March bosses and Bahamut. And those aren't going to get checked anytime soon. Hopefully.
Well, here's the thing. I know Rexroll isn't going to check it because he's in go mode and he knows what he has to do. I'm worried Gambit is going to try to force it.
It'll be a matter of how quickly he realizes here that he's got one more free check.
All right, so Gambit gets through that, decides, hey, let's go ahead and save real quick before we keep on moving through, just in case this seed has been bad enough for us. Safety save.
Rexroll picking up not only vampires for presumably here the Z fight, but also finds a cursed ring. Makes that purchase here. I don't believe Gambit checked the armor shop at the Edlin cave, because I suspect if he had found that cursed ring here, the initial attempted wyvern might have gone a little bit more smoothly. Gambit's electing here to get Val out of the tornado spot here. Val can be hit at the spot in while spinning here, but electing here to take her out of that mode just to get either some additional damage in here and get some nukes in just to get some additional damage in that way.
Oh, this is such a fast spot too, unfortunately. Doing the best he can at this point. So far, so good. Just got to keep plugging along, unfortunately.
And Gambit running into a situation where you find here that Fu isn't. One of Fu's weaknesses in that he has a relatively small HP. Magic point pool, so you can't constantly nuke your bosses unless you have a way here to refill that here, and he's gonna steal some MP from Rosa here for that refill.
My goodness, this is just a rude wyvern for poor Rexall at this point in time. I had been walking over some of those tiles, so most of his party was already at 1 HP. Couple survivors. Oof.
And Gambit takes down Valvalis, which will complete his third objective, and he's got one to go. We all know where he needs to go here to get that to complete that second objective here. It's a matter of doing that one remaining free check.
Oh, Snape D, I see you. I see your comment. I just want to let you know that. Meanwhile, Rexall moving through, and he is at his first spike here. Right on Gambit's tail from the looks of it, but remember, Gambit still does not have that second objective. Has not even started, and that's kind of a chain at this point in time, unfortunately. Earth Crystal to... is it Earth Crystal to Baron Key to Twin Harp? Is that what it is?
Earth Crystal here to Baron Key to Twin Harp, to the Baron Throne. Baron Key here, and then Twin Harp by way of Baron Throne.
Yeah, that's, if you have to go more than one key item deep in terms of a chain, then it starts getting to be pretty deep, and this is a very deep required check at this point for a check that Gambit has not yet done. Unfortunately, this is really unfortunate for Gambit. We'll see if he's checking the right thing. Are you going to check Edward, Gambit?
It looks like he is, and he did the swag black chocobo fly-in for it, I believe. He's going in the right direction.
He's doing it! And this is where the frustration comes in, because it's not immediate, but it's a chain. We know it's the right chain, but goodness, it's not a chain you want to have to do if you put this off for this long.
Given here that Earth Crystal, Baron Key, and Twin Harp are not the quickest of checks.
And he's sitting here going, do I have time to check this? Yes, you do, Gambit. You want this treasury. This is actually a pretty decent treasury, all told.
And Rex is making his way through the battle fight here. I'm not sure his go probably a little bit. No, his fight might be quicker, but he also doesn't have Fu at this point, so he's not going to have here that burst of damage here that with Nuke here that Gambit was able to get on Val.
That said, it's not necessarily a bad party. In fact, if you're using, Cecil cover strats at this point, you don't want her to switch. You kind of want to just let her keep doing her thing and then letting Cecil cover the fights at this point in time. So it's still not going to be a bad strategy at this point. It's survivable to get through it.
Now, given the cover strats here, yeah, Rex is electing here to keep Val in the inner tornado form, so she's not hitting the party with direct damage attacks as often.
For Berserked Rydia with the Dragon Whip.
She's trying her best. Gambit's about to take his fight with Biden. You get that now to start that chain going towards the item here required here for that fourth and final objective.
So the question becomes, are we looking at doing 1200 strats for Zero Miss at this point in time? Because we can access them as soon as Rexfall gets through, or are we trying to level up fully and do Zero Miss quote-unquote proper at this point?
Given that both our runners I chose to make vampire purchases at the Eplin shop here, my hunch is that both of the parties are committed here to 1200 strats. Gambit here does have the advantage here that with the Fu here, he can also reflect some nukes to get a little bit additional damage to make. So you're not. So he doesn't have to go through here as many reflected nukes. So I think his Z fight's going to go a little faster. But I believe here we're committed. Both our runners are going to be committed here to low level strats.
So be honest with me here. What's the likelihood of us completing our meta objective of killing a pink buff pack?
Given that I don't believe we've seen a siren at this point here, I'm gonna say 0.
I think that's a pretty accurate assessment, honestly, at this point in time. Unfortunately, yeah, it's not with this setup. I mean, even if we've had sirens, we're not in a position with this particular party to do so.
Yeah, like you need like a different equipment here. Like I'm thinking a drain sword here. just and zerking Cecil and well, you don't need to zerk, but having a zerked Cecil here with a drained sword here is just so he can recover his HP while he's trying to take down the pink puffs. But yeah, and you need to find the fight first here, and and neither runner is, from what I can see here, has a way to find them here without actually just hoping and praying and walking back and forth.
All right. So Gambit is working his way through the Dark Elf much quicker than Rexraw did, but at the same time, Rexraw is now completed with his third and final objective, so he is rewarded with the crystal.
And we have a finisher. We have Xenocat 823543 finishing the race with a time of 1 hour 27 minutes and 58 seconds. GG's, Xenocat.
So, Haram, question for you: What what was the turning point in this race? I know we're looking at Gambit versus Rexraw, and you know right now Rexraw is in the lead because he went to Edward early on. But what do you think is kind of the key decision in this race that turned things around? There always feels like there's like a fulcrum point in these races where one decision ended up being good, one decision ended up being bad. Can you think of something in this race? Because I'm having a hard time finding it.
Given with the two runners we're seeing here, the difference here has been that Earth Crystal check. Um, th- that well, here's the thing: both had different. I think both players had different plays here, which kind of set them on their way towards the seed here. Gambit here getting through Keyless Tower early, and then but again the difference was that Earth Crystal check here and having that check available earlier, and being willing to go through that chain of events. Um, I think that was where the difference is. But in terms of overall here, yeah, I think it's tough to see either here because everything just kind of really chained together. So it's a matter of those of the Keyless Tower and the Earth check here all leading towards objectives in a fairly linear manner.
Now the question becomes: Okay, if you're Rexroll, do you switch anyone out at this point in time? Do you just say, I know my party, I'm going to roll with it? Or do you say, oh, a foo, that's nice, and pick him up?
Yeah, I forgot here. Fu was actually at the moon here, which Rex still had to check. I would take the Fu here because it makes your low level strats that much faster because instead of doing vampire damage and reflected and having Zeroma's reflected nuke damage here, Fu can reflect a more powerful nuke towards Zeroma's here, so it's going to make that countdown from 61,000 to 0 that much faster.
All right, so Rexroll is on his way down to Zeromus. We'll be doing that kind of low level reflect strat from the looks of it. Gambit, meanwhile, has an antlion to slay.
Yep, and again, this should be. It's good. Yeah, the bosses are going to be fairly short work here. It's just a matter of getting from point A to point B here, which is going to take time here. Again, these are not the quickest of checks here, even with a party here that's can make quick work of the bosses here, just because there's so much walking to do. Not to mention the cutscenes.
Oh! Rexroll is taking a bit of a detour. He's going over to check the crystal source spot?
Perhaps Rex is trying to get a few more additional levels up here to make the fight a little more comfortable, or maybe even a hybrid strat. But
I mean, it's possible. This is a relatively low HP spot, and Bahamut is a relatively free boss if you can get up enough star veils at this point.
Even with a few star veils here, this fight is going to be pretty free.
Gambit, meanwhile, finds his twin heart, will be on his way to do a little bit of a cutscene, but we will be blessed with a second round of that wonderful Blaster Master music.
Now, this is a problem here. Could this be a problem here? Because we got... I've never actually... No, I guess you can fly 2 black chocobos at once.
Alright, so that's 2 Mega Nukes from Bahamut. It's a free fight. It's a little bit of a slow fight, so I think he's invested now in those hybrid strats he was talking about.
Because, you've got 3 good sources of melee damage here. You got Excal Ciso, Spoonward, and a White Spear Arcane. Yeah, that's a fair amount of damage. The Stardust Rod isn't bad either here to get those reflected nukes as well. To help boost that power a little bit.
Yeah, that was a gift right there. That was fantastic. Because I don't know, I mean, put the Stardust Rod on Fu, his nukes are more powerful, and then you can give that Lunar Rod to Rosa, who up to this point in time on Rex's side has at least been rocking bows. So you're doing all right in the Zeromus fight right now.
Yeah, we're about to get the reprise of the Stage 1 Blaster Master theme.
All right. So getting through that fight, just wonderful music again. In the meantime, we do have an update. We do have more finishers. Bad Karma does finish in second place, 133.56. Jeebus finished in 134 flat. and Flurry 14 does finish in fourth place at 135.24. So unfortunately, uh, those are the top runners there. So it appears as though the meta objective was not met, to the surprise of no one, realistically.
As much as you'd like to see a pink puff fight here, wasn't in the cards here with with the way the seed rolled out today. It seems, but Gambit does have the fourth objective done. He has his crystal, and we'll see here if he goes straight into the Zeromus fight here, or whether he chooses here to get a few additional levels beforehand. And after Rex took the Bahamut fight here at the Crystal Sword altar here, did take a trapped treasure chest here with a behemoth, found some Hanzo steel, and I believe this is the ribbon room spot here, and he's taking on the Asura boss there here, which will be a slog here, but should be pretty easy going.
Well, and it looks like he absolutely is trying to avoid those 1200 stress at this point. He's gaining the experience necessary in order for him to be able to just do Zeromus normally at this point in time.
And won't need too many more levels either here. And from what it looks like here, Cecil's starting to approach here that level 45, 46 area here to get him at 28 agility here, which would make the agility situation a little nicer. I don't know exactly what level he's at right now here, but he should be close here, if not there, after this fight.
Shout out to Bad Karma, one of our finishers, who is in chat right now. Neither of our runners are going to do this, so I don't necessarily think this is a spoiler, but revealing to us in the chat that there was both a Crystal Sword and apparently an Avenger in Castle Eblin, just kind of hanging out, which would have been fantastic for our Cecils.
Yeah, I don't blame either of the runners here for not checking Eblin Castle. It is still an out of the way check, and it's not a check that you may want to approach here, especially if you had a start here like the one we had here at the beginning of the seed.
Well, here's where it's getting interesting now. Gambit is opening treasure chests, and he's also on the moon. He's got all of his objectives complete. He's rolling. If he's comfortable with 1200 strats, he might be skipping all of this leveling that Rexroll is doing. We might still have a little bit of a race here, folks.
And we do have a 5th place finisher. Woo Bear has finished the race with a time of 1 hour, 40 minutes, and 36 seconds. GG's Woo Bear.
All right. Looks like Rexroll is at the point where he's comfortable with his levels, putting the cursed ring on a middle row Fusoya, not recognizing that the vanilla agility anchoring is on. That Cecil's controlling your fate.
And that Cecil's at 47, so assuming he doesn't have any items that affect his agility here, that might be 29 agility at that point.
It's one of the bad numbers. I know that much.
Well, 27 is you don't want to be at 27. 29, it's not ideal, but okay. It's you want to be a little bit more over as opposed to under in this case. Speaking of which, here
Meanwhile, Gambit is saying, "Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead, sir."
sorry. We're starting to see a few Z flags, or what appear to be Z flags, in the chat here. What's going on with that?
Oh, well, much like the harp where we randomize the music that is played, because we in the Final Fantasy IV free enterprise community love to randomize things, we decided to randomize the end boss. Don't worry, it's all the same abilities in Zero Miss, so we plan it out. But Zero Miss is the kind of boss that you can't just mix up into the regular pool. So instead, when he reveals his true colors, he will show us exactly whose butt we're kicking tonight.
Gambit's also again. In the meantime, Gambit is taking the Asura fight as well here, presumably here to get those levels, those additional levels up here. This fight will probably go might go a little more slowly here because you don't have the ability to cease to the cover. So you are, and you also lose out on that direct damage as well.
Oof, and yeah, that Asura is hitting Gambit quite a bit harder than Rexaral's slightly more leveled party. And we have Chaosmus. I'm lost, chat. Help me out here, Loom.
My video game knowledge is not the most encyclopedic here. I'm not even familiar with Loom.
Yeah, I'm completely in the dark here as well. I appreciate everyone. Okay, she is a dark and powerful goddess. You know what? Anyone called Chaosmus, we can presume is going to be a dark and powerful god or goddess.
All right, Rex looks like he's going with full Zerker here. He's got Berserk on both Kane and Cecil here. Eddie here, unfortunately, here didn't even make it to the first Big Bang.
But does look like he's counting on him to do something, though.
Yeah. Fu's giving him a second lease on life, and Eddie's gonna give it his all. And there goes Berserk number 3.
Excal Cecil is still doing quite a bit of work, and Kane's keeping up. He's being respectable. So, and then Edward is doing enough damage that it makes you realize, maybe that life too is worth it instead of a nuke. But I think Eddie's going to be taking another nap.
And that was a nasty Big Bang roll there. Now, in the meantime, we do have a 6th place finisher, a Stone Dingley, coming in with a finishing time of 1 hour, 44 minutes, and 43 seconds. GG's.
Oh, Water Hag. This is going to be a fantastic little XP boost.
It's fantastic boost here as long as you can avoid Water Hag. Well, looks like that was a fairly low roll here, but this spot can hit pretty hard. I don't recall here how hard Water Hag can hit at this spot, but looks like here he's gonna get a big boost and keeping Rydia. Rydia's taking a nap here to keep that agility situation in control there. Oh, look, it's a crystal
And
sword.
there's a crystal sword. That's the frustrations right there. Just that walk back and forth on Gambit's side. That was nothing but frustration. I feel it.
Rex is recalibrating here for the second attempt at Chaosmus. We do have the finishes are starting to come in a little now as well here. We have Microcorps in 8th place with 1 hour, 47 minutes, and 17 seconds. Klopfer at in 9th place with a time of 1 hour, 47 minutes, and 28 seconds. Microcorps just getting just a little bit ahead of Klopfer. And we also have a 10th place finisher. Tybalt has finished in 1 hour, 47 minutes, and 54 seconds. GG's to all three.
Yeah, all of those three within a minute of one another. Fantastic job. Uh, that's one of the nice things I think about all the tournaments and now the expanded community events that are going on just throughout the week. Uh, it's it you can see how much better the community is getting week in, week out. Everyone's really up to their game, and finishes are getting closer and closer and lower. Even with how horrible this seed is, to see so many people sub 2 hours, honestly, fantastic work, everyone who's running this.
Yeah, some seeds, progress in a more straightforward manner than others here. This was far from straightforward. This was an exercise in perseverance for sure.
Absolutely. Meanwhile, poor Edward takes a nuke to the face.
And Gambit is going to, see the face of Z here for the first time momentarily.
I'm really starting to feel for Rex here. I mean, he pulls his Edward up and then he goes down almost immediately uh, without really being able to nerf the big bangs. And he's got that horrible curse ring on his Fusoya instead of a Cecil when it's vanilla agility anchoring. I think that's what feels the worst because I know what he's trying to do, and unfortunately, it's not working quite how he wants it to.
Yeah, sometimes here when you feel a little pressure here, you feel you're running behind here. You do get that panic mode here, and you do, and it happens to every race here. You do forget your flags. So you think you're doing something here, not realizing here that what you're doing here is it has the opposite effect of what you want it to have.
Black hole coming through. That was another high roll for Rex, so he's going to have to get his Rosa up, I think, at this point in time.
Yeah, Gambit's fight here appears to be going here a little more smoothly here because the agility situation on his side here is in a much better place here. So, um, you know, it feels like his fight's going a little more smoothly. But Big Bang is still Big Bang, and Edward still doesn't take a lot of damage.
That said, I mean, I think you're right. I think he's just kind of set up for success with his party at this point and being able to control the fight a little bit more. This is going to come down to the wire between Gambit and Rexroll. You know, we saw and thought Rexroll had kind of a nice straight line lead here. Gambit has played very well in this back half. As soon as he realized where the Earth Crystal was and followed that path, uh, honestly, I thought Rexroll was going to be running away with it, but Gambit has played very well. It's going to come down to the wire between these two.
And Virus comes out here and after the Big Bang, and that's going to be another wipe on Rex's side.
Good big bang roll on that point for Chaosmus, although we're going to have a reflected nuke. This could be a foo. We're kind of in a rough spot right now with Gambit.
Yeah, it's a matter here of whether Gambit here can get. Yeah, he should be able to get the get the cure out here to get the HP levels back up here, but with only 2 characters up here, this is going to go. The fight's going to go a lot faster on Z's side here. So whether he can get enough damage in here to to have this fight go fairly quickly. We do have an 11th place finisher. Infinius has completed the seed in 1 hour, 51 minutes, and 13 seconds. GG's to Infinius.
Oh, Gambit's just going to ease up. Said, I'm hoping we don't have a high roll at this point. Oh, Rosa survived, but Kane is taking a nap now. Ouch.
Yeah, this is going to be very difficult to recover from, and that was a pretty heavy virus hit, too. Gamble's he's trying to get as much of his party up here as he can here, just to try to get that damage up here.
I mean, this is a nice recovery so far from Gambit. Trying to get a nuke off to get some sort of damage rolling.
And while fights going here, we have another flurry of finishes. We have Adragus in 12th place at 1 hour, 53 minutes, and 29 seconds. Frankie Bones in 13th place with a finishing time of 1 hour, 54 minutes, and 23 seconds, getting in just ahead of Commander Leonhardt, who finishes at 1 hour, 54 minutes, and 26 seconds. GG's to all 3.
Wow, all of them just boom, boom, boom right there. Gambit's recovered somewhat, although looks like Edward's about to take another nap. And Kane cannot catch a break.
Yeah, it's going to be slow. It's going to be slow going here, and Fu is. Yeah, I didn't catch what his HP situation or whether he's been refilling with either's here, but yeah, that low HP pool here is now coming into play. He's got Ether 2s, so, but that's again here. That's going to take a little more time. And we do have, the finishes are starting to come in more quickly now. We have Pixel Tamer in 15th place at 1 hour, 55 minutes, and 56 seconds. GG's, Pixel Tamer.
All right, another Big Bang. Gambit is just hanging on by a string. He is not yet wiped. Just in a better agility position, so he's getting more turns off per Big Bang. Rex Raw, here we go again.
It's more turns, but a lot of the time is spent recovering to try to put yourself in a spot here where he can continue on with the fight. And so not getting here as much damage, damage is put out as quickly as maybe he would like.
That said, he's still getting some damage off, which is not nothing. I think he's run out of Ether 2s is the problem now.
And that was a nasty Big Bang roll. And yeah, that was unfortunate. Gambit gave it a great effort here to try to get through that fight here, but again here, like the number, having a small number of bodies, you're not getting the damage out as quick as you like here. That hurt.
Well, and that's been the story of this entire seed, right? Nothing has been easy. I mean, the party comps have always been bad. The leveling opportunities have been few and far between. This has just been a slog the entire race. I mean, why wouldn't the end boss be any different?
Yeah, our racers here are they're not new to the game here. They are they have a fair amount of experience on their hands here, in running seeds here. Z can still be nasty given a certain character set here, what resources you have here. It's still a tough fight.
Gambit doing some equipment adjustments at this point in time, just trying to see what he can do at this point in time, trying to increase his damage output every little bit.
It's trying to recalibrate here, seeing what way here, seeing if there's maybe a different approach you can take here to make the fight go a little faster here. It looked like for a time on the Gambit side, we may be trying to just go to a single reflect strat here, just so you can get through here. So you don't have to go through as much HP here trying to get Fu up here, but with the MP constraints here that Fu has here, that is a little difficult.
Meanwhile, Rexroll is back at it. Looks like he has his Kane and Cecil zerked now, and Rosa and Fu are just on healing duty. Rocks are falling. Rexroll's in a very good spot right now.
Yeah, with with a full battery of the Eclipse, the crack boom should come anytime now. The rocks here are not going to do enough damage here for this to be any danger to Rex at this point here. And we use the crack boom.
GG's to Rexroll. Does finish in 16th place in this race at 2 hours and 54 seconds. Oh my goodness, this was a beauty, Smeepy. Mwah. Thank you so much for giving us this seed. We'll see if Rexroll is willing to join us here in the booth before long. And joining us now in the booth is Rexroll. GG's, and my heart goes out to you for actually playing this.
Well, yeah. It could have been worse. We'll go that way.
All right. So when you start to see here, you see Tella, and then you see your second character with the Dark Knight Cecil.
Yeah.
When you go to Mount Hobbs and you see here that it's another Dark Knight Cecil, what are you thinking at that point?
It didn't dawn on me immediately, but pretty quickly I'm like, oh my goodness, this is not going to be an easy start. Because I didn't realize it. I don't know why I didn't realize immediately, but it took me a second to realize that there wasn't another easy place for me to grab a character. So, yeah, that's how it turned out.
Now going into the seed here, given here that we have a no XP flag on, um,
Yep.
into what what were your thoughts in terms of strategy here for the end game for your Z fight here? Did you have like a certain strategy here that you wanted to favor in mind?
Actually, this was pretty close to what I wanted. Basically, once I got 10 key items, then grind on like moon bosses, and I knew where that one. I took one traps chest because I knew exactly where that was. I don't have most of the lunar subterranean vanilla trap chest locations memorized, but I remembered that one behemoth right next to the boss in the by the crystal sword altar. So I figured I'd knock those two out, then do the big 200k one, which was the Ashura fight, which went smoother than I kind of thought it would when I first saw it. So yeah, if I felt I needed more, I would have probably done another boss or two. But I knew I was close. That Zeramus was just sniping my Edward, and I must have had something off on my agility calculation because Zeramus was way faster than I was expecting him to be.
Yeah. Did you know vanilla agility anchoring was turned on?
Was turned off or on?
On. So your Cecil was.
You know, I kind of figured that was probably what was happening, but if it wasn't that, then I knew a 20 agility Fu was not going to be a good anchor either. So it was damned if you do, damned if you don't, I figured, as far as I was concerned at that point. So I just rolled with it, and eventually I got there. Yeah. I remembered the warp glitch was on, but yeah.
Yeah, we were really concerned about you there because you're doing very well setting everything up, and we're like, ooh.
Yeah, I wouldn't have even gone looking for curse strings then if I knew vanilla agility was on. So.
And like during the Z fight here, did you feel here you needed to do anything like what adjustments here were you think that you need to make to here? Given here that there were some pretty nasty big bang rolls in the earlier attempts.
Well, I knew that my Rosa was kind of on the edge of survivability, but she had a white robe, and that's pretty good for helping her live. So I figured I'd be pretty okay. But yeah, those rolls were really high on Rosa, and the first two tries, he was sniping my Eddie. But I think just not thinking about Edward at all during that fight would probably been the better way of going. And I kind of did that third time around. So yeah, that was kind of my adjustments there. But if I didn't make it that third time, that was it. I was gonna forfeit and just be done because I didn't want to do that again. So I'm glad I got there.
And we're happy to see here that you persevere through that last final attempt there. This is a rude seed in more ways than one, for sure.
Yeah, I mean, it was difficult to figure out how to get through, like, with very very little damage at the beginning, and then the third character you get off the package was that Edward, and I'm like, oh my goodness. But once you're able to complete ordeals, the rest of the seed wasn't really all that challenging because completing ordeals basically gave you everything. It gave you a full-powered Tella. You got your Paladin Cecil plus all the goodies from that treasury. and you got a spoon there, so you had spoon word. So now you've got all sorts of power, all sorts of utility spells, and then it was going and finding the other characters. Everything from there wasn't nearly as difficult, I thought. Like, if I would have realized it was vanilla agility, I would have played the Z fight a lot differently. Probably had a lot more success, but other than that, I think. Oh, I might have actually kept Rydia. I don't know, but just thinking about it in my head. So.
All right, Batasha, did you have any other any additional questions here for Rex?
No, I mean, I just want to again salute you. That was a fantastic run. I salute you again because that early game was so rough. I would have thrown my controller down. So the fact that your controller is still intact and you were able to complete it, big salute to you, sir.
I'm known for being pretty laid back in life, so that wasn't going to be an issue. Oh, I'll also note I definitely forgot that the twin harp was required to complete Cave Magnus. I'm like, I've got the Earth Crystal. Earth Crystal is associated with Cave Magnus. I could go there. Oh wait, like why isn't he using his normal attack? Oh, okay.
I mean, we weren't going to bring that up if you weren't, but
I figured I might as well just say that was just a total forgetfulness on my part.
We've all been there.
Oh yeah. I'm sure. I do feel lucky that I went to that keyless tower, basically just to get some more levels on Rosa was the reason to do that. And then it ended up being the pan, which gave me the tower key. And so that routing ended up being pretty lucky. I was trying to set up to do that Mylon Z fight down at the Odin that got the better of me the first time. I might have been able to do it at the levels I was at when I first tried it, but it would have been really close. So I wanted to get some more levels, get a little bit more HP on Cecil, and then go into the fight equipped with the crystal armor. But once I got that tower key and then got the hook, then I'm like, okay, well, I don't need to do that at all. So just it was knocked off my list. So that was basically what I was thinking during that time. But thanks, everybody, for putting on a great show. And I'm going to be watching the VOD probably tonight.
Well, awesome. Thank you so much, Rex, again, for the great show.
Yep. GG's, Rex.
All right. Bye, everybody.
Everyone, that was Rex Roll. If you like what you saw from him, go ahead and give him a follow here on Twitch. Also, give a follow to Gambit017 as well. You know, it takes a lot of courage to put yourself out there, to be able to just showcase yourself in these community races. So big thank you to those folks. In the meantime, for those folks who are wondering, we have the updates to the flag string for the next Legacy series for the Community Club Showcase. The updates to the flag string, for those folks who are interested, we are adding K-Trap. So in addition to key items being available where they were tonight, they will also be available in the Trap treasure chests. We also have no J items. No J items in chests. So they'll be available in shops, but no J items in chests. Witchburn. So Wyvern will be slightly less intimidating and slightly more chaotic. And then finally, shop checks are changed from S Pro to S Wild.
All right, we do have Rocks on Gambit's side, so hopefully his fight will be coming to a conclusion soon. We do have some additional finishers. While we were interviewing Rex here, we have Plumeria Knight in 17 with a time of 2 hours, 2 minutes, and 45 seconds. Gundam Pilot Spaz in 18 at 2 minutes, 7 minutes, and 5 seconds. And Aegis at 2 hours, 11 minutes, and 18 seconds. GG's.
And then immediately after, Gambit 2 hours, 11 minutes, 36 seconds, and I do believe he is joining us here in the chat. GG's to Mr. Gambit. How are you doing, sir, after that wonderful, wonderful experience?
Well, mistakes were made. That's pretty much how I can describe this seed.
Yeah, so let's talk about Edward.
So you probably saw about, what, hour or something in, I realized, oh yeah, Edward's got an item. And I'm just like, oh, well, I should probably go check that. And that led to the last objective I needed, thankfully. I felt so good with that early hook. And I was like, I'm good, I'm fine. And then, again, remembering at that minute that Edward had the item, I was like, I have no chance now, do I?
Yeah, well, it was interesting because between you and Rex, who were on stream, he had done that and was following that chain. Whereas you, it wasn't exactly straightforward to do Keyless Tower either in order to do, that led to the hook at that point in time. Oh, wait, that was Sheila too at that point. So all confusing aside, like you were both going down different paths and it was just, okay, who crosses the other one's path first? And Rex just ran out of stuff and ended up having to do Keyless Tower. We were concerned that you would be going on a D-Mist hunt there for a second.
I was going to go to the moon and hunt D-Mist, and I realized, wait, I popped over, I checked the flags, I was like, Ed Key is not on. Edward's got an item. I should probably go check that. And it was just ironic that he gave Earth Crystal, which led to Baron, which led to Twin Harp. And I'm sitting there looking at that going, yeah, someone's about to finish.
Now, both you and Rex are both elected here to go with a Berserk hybrid strat here, a more traditional Zeroma's fights here. Was that your thinking here going into the C2? You're always going to commit to that here, or were there low level strats in? Did any of those cross your mind at any point throughout the seed?
My initial thought was to go low level, especially early when I got that hook. My thought was, okay, if I'm still in a position where there's no dot duns and I'm at or about to be in go mode, I knew where Cure 3 was. They were in Tomra. I found them early. I knew where Star Veils were. They were in Silvera. I found Vampires in Eblin. I'm like, I've got all I need for low level. Once the dot done started coming in and I was outside the top 3, that's when I said, okay, you know what? I've got an Edward. I've got a Spoon. Let's just get some levels and let Spoonward have some fun.
Yeah, now that I think back on it, that Mount Ordeals was just super nice for the entire early game. Your Cecil powered up, your Tello powered up, and then it gave you the Spoon, so Edward powered up.
Yeah, I will admit, though, doing some bosses for grinds and getting that crystal sword at the Ogopogo spot, I almost went back to Earth and grabbed Cecil back again. Matter of fact, if I had wiped again to Z, I would have gone back and got Cecil and then done the giant to slingshot Cecil up and then try this one more time.
Speaking of Cecil here, given the agility shenanigans here that he brings along here, when you saw Wyvern at the King Queen Evelyn spots here, you elected here to find another character at that point here. When you first saw Wyvern here, what thoughts crossed your mind?
That was a very, very rude hook path. Wyvern into Valvalis is just nasty. And my initial thought was, okay, let me try a Dwarf Axe on Cecil. Still not slow enough. I had not seen a curse string. I never found the curse string. So if Rex found it, I'd be curious to know where it was. But at that point, I said, okay, this is not quite doable at the levels I am. I reset back to a point before I had done the grind to level Kane up. So I still had a base level Kane. And if I had not got something in Dwarf Castle, aka that Darkness Crystal that led me to Fu, that could have got me through that wyvern. My plan was to reset back to that save and just not do the Mad Ogre chest and Dwarfax Kane and go with him as an anchor and see if it could get me through that wyvern. Thankfully, finding food made all that moot, and I could just run down there and nuke wyvern in the face.
All right, and with the Z fight here, there were with that first one, there were a few nasty rolls, big bang rolls, and you're doing your hardest here to persevere to try to get through that fight. What adjustments here did you feel you need to make here to on the other attempts here to get through that deceptively tricky Z fight?
That first attempt came down to a mistimed nerf. I tried to nerf that second Big Bang, and I missed the timing on it. The Big Bang went off full powered, and then followed by Rosa casting slow, which caused another nuke to come out. Once I realized that attempt was still in phase 1, still in virus phase, I was like, let's switch it up. Let's go ahead and burn up all of Foo's MP as much as I can, trying to reflect nukes and see if I can't get a reflect kill. Got about 15,000 worth of damage and did not get the kill, and ate another Big Bang, and that was pretty much the end of that. That second attempt, I forgot to change the battle speed, and the moment that Big Bang came off, before I'd even had a chance to throw a Soak Web, I'm like, nope, we're going to reset. We're going to do this one more time and do it right. And then third time was the charm.
And yeah, persevering here through that attempt here, through a seed here that tested a lot of patience. Certainly would have tested my patience. Is a testament here to your skill as well. Here, this was nasty, and I'm glad I didn't run it.
Yeah, that early game was rough with just Dark Knight Cecil and Tella. The orbs, the CPU down Antline. I'd forgotten I had a Gaia drum. If I had remembered that the first time, I would have been able to get through that the first time. All honesty, though, forgetting about that probably made that fight a lot easier. Because once I was able to get through ordeals, I had that light sword that I had found for Cecil. And then just kind of pushing through that made life so much easier. And again, that ordeals, that was one of the easiest ordeals you can get without ordeals being full free fights. I mean, first fight was Elements, I believe, and one Firebomb took care of it. Golbez in the back attack spot's annoying, but I was able to get the Starveil off with Tella, and that was that. And then once I had that Cecil powered up and Ogopogo's nothing. It's like, just chop them up, 4 attacks, we're done, let's go home.
All right, Vitisha, did you have anything else for Gambit?
No, just once again, just a great race. And again, kudos to you for actually finishing it and not breaking your controller in the process, because that's what I would have done.
I think this was more of a, once I saw the dot duns come in and I was in go mode, it was more of a question of how much fun do I want to have with this? Do I want to go? That's why I made the decision. Let's get some levels on Edward. Let's have Spoon go crazy. That was for you, Asuka. And then I thought about going to the Pink Puff room to try to find a Pink Puff fight, but chose against it. I was like, we're already pushing the 2-hour mark, and again, I 2 hours 11 minutes by the time I finish. I'm like, let's just go ahead and end this. And took a couple wipes along the way, but it was kind of more of a situation of remembering how to nerf. It's been a while since I've tried full nerfing strats, so being able to nerf pretty much every Big Bang I saw in that last attempt really felt good, and then pushing through with just Kane and Rose alive at the end, but that's all I really needed. So,
all right. Well, once again here, GG's to Gambit here on a challenging seed here, and and working your way through it.
Well, thank you so much. Thank you, Harumph and Vitasia, for doing the commentary. I look forward to listening to this one back. Spady for putting on the show, making sure everything's going for everybody. Possum pressing the button to not idiom, as he is known to do. You guys are real stars, as always. Thank you so much for all the hard work you do, and have a great rest of your night.
Awesome. GG's once again to Gambit017 for Racing. Once again, give him a follow. Also give Rex Roll a follow here on Twitch. Once again, one last shout out to the team behind the scenes, Possum Morpheus and Snape D doing our tracking and restreaming. And then Harumph, congratulations. You've gotten through your first commentary.
Thank you. And I at the start here, it was. I hope I can get through the first seed. Now I feel thankful here that I wasn't in the race tonight.
Absolutely. Two things real quick. First, if everyone sticks around, we're going to actually send you over to JBrun TR. We're going to rate him. He is still doing the race, however, so everyone in chat, please do not spoil anything when we go over to chat. Also, one last thing I did not say, the next week's meta objective is going to be to loot all 8 chocobo forests. So remember, start practicing, start planning, loot all 8 chocobo forests next week for the meta objective. That'll do it for us here at the Free Enterprise. Hope everyone has a great rest of your evening, and we'll see you at the next race.